I'm going to admit, a decade ago this week, when I will release this, by the way, was a very tough week for me when I was at Baylor University. And yeah, I am serious because I have sunglasses on and all this. On February 8th, I received the following email from Crystal Gorey, like the director of professional practice. It said, "Dear Scott, Dr. Rochelle Rogers and I would like to meet with you this week on Wednesday, February 10th at 10:30 a.m. in the Dean's Conference Room in Mars McLean Science Building. We are concerned about your struggling with content and with engaging students in a responsive way. We are well into the semester and your performance in the classroom is not where it needs to be with regard to meeting the standards of our teacher education program. We are in hopes that a meeting will help us know better and how to guide and support you. I am including Dr. Doug Rogers in this email, asking him to join us as Associate Dean in the School Education. Please let me know if this meeting date and time will work for you. I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Dr. Gorey." Yeah, I actually was a student teacher at the time, but that was like my first semester, quote unquote. Because the semester before, I took 3 math classes and a statistics class because at the time I wanted to do high school mathematics. I become a teacher for that. I decided, nah, I'm not going to do that because I was struggling in some of those math classes at Baylor, just to be real, and it was going to only be like specifically that one math class that was just like proofs all day I had to come up with on my own. And it was very difficult, to say the least. Thus, I changed to middle grades math at the time. And they were surprised. Like Dr. Rochelle Rogers was surprised at the time when she looked, "Oh, you hadn't started yet." I literally explained that to her at that meeting. They only gave me 2 days to give me time to fix all the problems. Yeah, I don't appreciate that at all. And some of those people, I admit, they're gone from the school education in Baylor because they retired or they moved on elsewhere. But still, they only gave me 2 days. That's not enough time, in my opinion. And I literally was in a like math class at the time, like probably mostly educators, and I literally typed in bold and red letters that I hate the school education of Baylor. And all my classmates at the time, they understood right after that meeting because they know how I felt. And I even said I hated that professor. And they understood why too. And I was just in a bad place mentally. And one of the only ways I could get back on track emotionally was going to Baylor sporting events. I mean, at the time, I only had like 2 days a week of classes. Like the 3-hour classes on Tuesday and Thursday. And it's not including like a 6-hour class online that my advisor at the time, Joel Porter, put me in as if it was day one of the semester, so I don't have to deal with repercussions and all that. I'm not going to say Baylor's bad because not all of it's bad. It's just that experience that with that one department. But that was one of the worst things I ever dealt with in my life. And what's funny is I took an organizational leadership class a year later. And The professor actually asked a question: name an example where an organization took advantage of somebody, or vice versa. I said briefly explained what happened here, and what happened to me that the year before, that week. And he said, I totally get why they asked you to do that, but they didn't give you enough time. And that's a great example right there. And some of my classmates at the time were like shocked when they heard about it. I even said even like the following fall and in spring what happened to me. And the crazy thing is that last semester at Baylor, that like a year later from that situation, I was in that same building. And I tried to avoid those people as much as I could, especially Krista Gorey. Come on. And it's not even mentioning, I believe they could have done better as a school education at Baylor as a whole. At the time, when my first semester at Baylor came, in fall 2014, the year that McLean Stadium was opened up. It was like a freshman, like first year freshman class for like teachers. They were at, it's like 3 classes, like 3 professors doing in a class at the time. But it was like a class and a half because my professor was like doing like so much with student teachers at the time. So it was like a class and a half in the building. Yeah, that's not exactly the idea. And they ran out of chairs. And I even my advisor at the time when all this stuff happened in 2016 told me, hey, if you want to email the dean, go right ahead. Because I don't know what exactly happened in there at the time. And I did. I didn't get anything back. And I mentioned what happened back then. I even mentioned what happened like when I was at Challenge Academy tutoring that spring when Dr. Brooke Blevins was my professor. She hardly supervised me. And I just felt like she didn't do any justice in all this situation. So I don't care if those people see this or not. But I have blocked all those people that were involved in that situation literally on social media. That way I don't have to see them, what they're doing and everything like that. Even one of my old advisors early on saw me that spring in 2017 or 16 or something, I don't remember, said hi to me. And she told me maybe just get through this semester and then change your mind about being a high school math teacher instead and going to middle grades math at the time. Yeah, I know, it's crazy and all this. So needless to say, that was a mess, but I got through it. And a lot of people understood where I came from at the time. And I decided, and once I knew I was not going to transfer from Baylor, I was not going to transfer from Baylor. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction that I had to leave because of that. I was going to graduate from Baylor somehow, and I didn't care how. I did it. And I was not going to let anybody or anything get in my way ever again. And I did. Just that, a year later, ironically enough. In the school education at Baylor, I have avoided those people ever since I graduated anyway. like that were involved, and sure, they wanted me to be at homecoming stuff at the time. I was not going to go, and eventually I decided I'm not going to even respond to that because I don't want to bring up painful memories of what happened, and that's totally understandable. And it's not even mentioning like that crazy ending to my last semester at Baylor was just plain ridiculous. But that's a different time and a different story. What she did was messed up. I'm just gonna call it at that. So yeah, I battled back, and sure, this has been tough athletically at times, but that is nothing compared to my personal stuff. Okay, in that spring in 2016, it's not even mentioning my last semester at MCC, what happened there, but that's a different time and different story with that one professor that I had for Spanish for back-to-back semesters. Then my last semester at MCC, what that professor did was just really rotten and low, to say the least. And I don't care if the current dean sees this or not. I don't care. At least I got it off my chest in a video fashion. And I have like decided, hey, I'm not going to associate myself with directly what happened with the school education because of what exactly happened. Yes, my degree says otherwise, but I'm not going to associate with that or that school education at Baylor. And I even blocked their social media pages both on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So that's all I got to say about this.